I'd love to. This week, we've kind of focused on, a 4-week regroup as we have like a later bye. I think it's a great idea by Dave and the crew, just, taking these chunks of this first stretch of the season for us and doing a evaluation of like where we're at schematically as a team, as a group, just kind of like putting our stamp for our guys, just to give you guys a little insight and a little picture of what we've been talking to our guys about this week is just focus and refocus, treating every rep individually, treating every game individually, getting to practice that out in the field here today, getting to practice that in the meeting room when we're talking about individual plays. You see it in a couple of our games of just some good sustained success, and then not being able at times to keep that going with refocusing, re-clicking back in. The perfect example of it, when we had our guys watch the first drive of the Miami game, and you watch the New York Jets do a great job of driving that thing all the way down the field, and then unfortunately end up with a fumble. Well, it's just a testament to the need to every single play tap back in, treat every single play as an individual entity of its own, being able to press hard reset no matter what good or bad happens before, and then moving forward. So I just love that came up, and then you contrast that with our first drive in New England, where we do a good job of being efficient, going down the field, refocusing after an injury on the first play, clicking right back in, having great rhythm and going right down the field. Well, now we got to be able to do that from one drive to the next, no matter what's happening on the defensive side of the ball or the special teams. Just wanted to give you guys a little picture into that, because that's been our mainstay. That's what we're going to hang our hat on, going forward, and making sure we emphasize every single rep is treated individually.
We'll kick things off with David Newton.
Yep.
Hey, Brad, you got me?
Morning. Yep.
You mentioned schematically, you look at that. I mean, Brad, Dave mentioned that too. What can you change schematically? What do you think's wrong schematically?
I'll never phrase it as what's wrong. It's you continue as you go to learn your guys and learn, what you're going to hang your hat on. Every single week there's new guys. I mean, we had injuries last week. You have elevations. So it's a constant reevaluation of what are the players, that we're playing with out there, and what do they do well. And then you let them go show you. One thing that we kind of showed from a self-scout that's out there for everyone to see is last year we really hang our hat on the mid-zone. Well, this year gap scheme has gone way up for us. I think it was like 80% efficient on normal downs. So every year we're just feeling out, okay, what is this going to look like with the group of players that we have every single week? Just like we're asking their players to refocus every week, focus on a new opponent, go from play to play. Us as coaches as well, when we're game planning, we're constantly doing that, constantly trying to push the envelope schematically of what fits the guys that are going out there for us.
And how much does injuries impact that?
Yeah, you never use it as an excuse. Everybody's dealing with injuries. That's just a testament to the necessary nature of having to really train the guys from the bottom up. So no matter who's on the roster, no matter who came in this week, they got to be ready to play. And our coaches take that approach. We all take that approach. We make sure when we sign these guys, when we bring them in, whether it's the off season, mid-season, we let them know, like, hey, we're bringing you in because we think you fit the mold of the guys that we want to trot out there with, and you need to be ready. And our guys, for the most part, they have been ready, and that's a testament to our coaches, having them trained, even though they might not be getting the full speed reps in games and practice.
And one last quick one. How much more inside pressure is Bryce getting since you're down to your third or fourth, whatever you want to call it, right guard, your backup centers now starting? How much more pressure have you noticed, and how's that impacting Bryce?
Yeah, I think some of it starts with the communication, and that's all of us, coaches all the way down to the quarterback, to the center, and then there's such an importance of those guys being on the same page up front, so they know where their help is. And so that's a starting point, is making sure that, during the week we're getting those 5 guys working together, communicating together, and then you bring Bryce in, like this morning, having a third down protection meeting. You bring Bryce in. Coach Gilbert does a great job of showing the looks of the week. Hey, this is what they like to do. All right, how would you see this, right? Let them engage the material. So let Bryce engage the material on the film, all right, and then see it come to life in practice, and then you hope that carries over into the game. And you take care of 95% of it, knowing that they're going to have some wrinkles too. But as long as you take care of that 95% of it, we'll go ahead and tweak in-game adjustments for the rest of it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Darren Gant, followed by Julian Council.
Brad, going back to what you were talking about out of the top, in trying to become a little more resilient, what are those conversations like in game? I mean, what gets said, who's saying it when you guys are between series?
Yeah, it's a combination of guys. So you lean on your leadership. Once you're inside the white lines, those are the guys that lead the charge. As coaches, that's our job, right? Our job is to make sure that they're dialed into the plays, the whys, and then the hows. And the hows, a big part of that how, is having the right mentality as we go out on the field. So keeping our guys engaged during the game while the defense is on the field, while special teams is on the field. That's a big portion of our job. So I take a lot of pride in that, and it looks different for every single guy. So Rob Moore is going to do it different than Harold Goodwin's going to do it different than Will Harriger. But constant investment in the engagement of our guys, it's just a huge part of our job on game day.
Okay. Hey, Brad, hope you're doing well. Just curious, on game day, I know Dave's given you the opportunity throughout training camp and even the first two preseason games to call plays. How much does he lean on you from series down to down in that department, if at all?
Yeah, when you're a head coach and the defense is on the field, you got to be engaged. So we have these little pockets, these little windows when there's a TV timeout or you're going in between special teams and defense where we get to recap. Mike Bercovici does a great job of recalling the coverages from the previous drive. Any of the pressure looks, we'll try to hit that really quick before the defense is out there. And then while the drive's going on, a piece of that engagement I was talking about with Darren is us coaches coming together and making sure, okay, hey, the next three runs that we like versus what we're seeing, the next three passes, if we get into situational ball, here's our next third down call, things that you can preview with the players, but then I can also bring to Dave and say, hey, we might want to deviate a little bit and go down this route because of what they're presenting us, as he's transitioning from defense back to, okay, offense has the ball now. So there's little pockets in there, but, he has to be engaged in the defensive side of the ball for the game management. But I get those little slivers, and he leans on me to make sure those conversations are going smoothly with the other coaches while he's engaged with defense.
Thanks.
Yep.
No person, followed by Scott Fowler.
Brad, good morning.
Good morning, Joe.
Wondered what you think this offense has lacked or has missed with X's absence the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think one thing you look at X, and he's an explosive athlete, and one of the biggest missing pieces of our offense right now, if you just look at the stats, is the explosive plays, and also that's in both phases. So when you have an explosive athlete out there like Xavier, like Jimmy's going to get a chance this week to run around and provide some speed on the field, or you're just making plays down the field like T-Mac does. That expands the coverage, gives us more favorable looks for the running backs, in the box. So it really all ties in together, and Xavier is a huge part of that. When he's playing fast, he threatens the defense. He forces the coverage to back up, and that opens up a lot of lanes both in the pass game and the run game.
Did you see defenses, I know it was only 2 weeks, but did you see any change in how you guys were being schemed?
Yeah, I think the more you have a young guy like T-Mac who's having success, in one-on-one contests, you start to see defenses walk out a player, pre-align a flat defender in zone coverage to try to, slow him off the ball, or start to tilt a robber safety to him. Little things that start happening, but all things that we've had experience with. You go back to Tampa with Mike Evans, you go back to Seattle with DK Metcalf. Like when guys start having success in one-on-one ops and they lean coverage, there's ways to combat it. There's ways to move T-Mac to get him open, which kudos to him. Him understanding the offense has allowed us to do that. You see him when he's at number 3, getting free access looks. You see him moving back across to the strong side of the formation, not just leaving him in one spot. That's a huge testament to Rob Moore, getting him prepared. That's a huge testament to T-Mac and his ability to learn conceptually. so we can keep him in those favorable matchups. But then it's also, that's when we got to lean on our other guys. If they're going to lean coverage, and they're starting to do that, they're starting to recognize his ability one-on-one, we need our other guys to show up. And we've challenged our guys with that. There's not a lot of opportunities in this league to have one-on-ones. And when the coverage is going away from you, you got to win. That's what it comes down to.
Thanks.
Yep.
Hi, Brad. Getting to a little bit what you just said, but I wonder if you could just talk about specifically the concept of speed, because it seems like speed is one thing y'all have lacked a little bit on the field the last couple of games, and then particularly about Jimmy Horn Jr. and how you think he may well be used this weekend. I mean, is he mostly a decoy to take the top off, or is he really a guy that you could see catching a 50-yard pass downfield?
Yeah, so speed for us it goes with our nature. It's the first element of our offense. We got 5 elements I kind of hit with the guys every single Wednesday just to regroup, and it's aggressive in our style. So aggressive in our style looks like coming off the ball with everything you got. It starts with having athletes in here that run 4-3, run 4-4, take the top off. We have those guys that play aggressive. Xavier being one that we just mentioned, T-Mac doing it in his own right because he wins. And then Jimmy, obviously an explosive athlete that excited a lot of us, all throughout camp. Really excited about him. Really excited about his work ethic. Just the time that he's put in, the patience he's had, the resilience to get comfortable with our schemes. I go back and look at the development of Jalen Coker over last year and where he got to because of all of his investment and some of the time it took for him to get comfortable in the formations and just the difference of the NFL and college. And Jimmy's getting that. He's picking it up. He's gaining the trust of us as coaches, getting aligned and knowing his assignment, but then also the speed off the ball for him. He attacks every route. He attacks every route vertically and puts a little fear in the DB's eyes where coverage just naturally expands. It just does because they feel that. They feel that urgency off the ball. They have to back up, and that just opens up bigger lanes for Bryce and Andy and Hendo to get him the ball.
Thanks, Brad.
Yep.
Cass?
Hey Brad, how's it going?
Good morning. Good.
Couple of things. One, this is a Dolphins defense that seemingly likes to really punch at the ball. Do you have to up those drills in a practice or in practice on a week like this? And how do you kind of just prepare for that? Or do you just have to emphasize ball security, I guess?
Oh, Darren Bates would hate me if I said we had to up it this week because he is our guy who's emphasizing going after the ball. Call it turnover Thursday or no turnover Thursday based on the results of today's practice. If the defense gets a turnover next week, it's turnover Thursday. If we protect the ball next week, it's no turnover Thursday. And Darren Bates gives us a really nice recap every Thursday morning. So. I would say that's a huge piece of who we are. It's all about the ball is a big mantra in our building. And the guys on defense make us better because they emphasize it on defense. They're always scrapping after the ball. You think of even young guys coming in, Lathan Ransom, bringing in new guys like Morrig coming in that always attacking the ball, J.C. Horn, Mike Jack. They're wired that way, and that makes us better on offense because anytime they relax or they don't play through the echo of the whistle, those guys are hunting. And I think that prepares us for games like this where you got, DBs punching the ball out. They did a great job of that on that first drive I was talking about in the New York game. It prepares us for games like this where guys are going after it.
Sweet. And then just one more thing. You mentioned seeing defenses kind of tilt their coverage towards T-Mac. I think there was even a couple plays Sunday where they had 2 DBs lined up on him just directly. Have you seen that before with a rookie, especially in their 4th week?
Yeah, I think it happens differently for every team, for every guy. Sometimes it's got to fit the scheme too of what they're doing. Sometimes it's just a flat player that's just a little bit of presence there, and then that's his zone responsibility anyways. But the more success you have, the harder they're going to try to make it. I've seen that stuff happen early. Again, alluded to DK Metcalf was there his rookie year, and it didn't take long for the league to notice that guy he was special down the field. And I don't think it's taken long to notice that T-Mac has an ability to attack the ball, come off the line of scrimmage and win one-on-one. So you're going to continue to see things like that. We're going to continue to study how teams get into those situations. every team's a little different on how they want to provide double teams or extra presence. So as long as we present that to our guys and how we're going to combat it, I trust that T-Mac will do his film study and understand, okay, what kind of leverage am I going to get? How can I still win when teams are trying to lean?